Quick shot on stage. He's talking with Splyce's man in the jungle.
Thank you very much. Good cast in the day, guys. I'm joined by Trashy. Congratulations, first of all, re-qualifying for the LCS. Let's start with this game. You look to be in complete control up until that first Baron, where all of a sudden it went wrong. What happened that it almost looked like you threw the game?
I feel like we stalled out the game a bit too much, and we let Fiora get items, and then he could win in split. So we had to force at S5, else Fiora would just win the game slowly. So it was like a decision we have to make, and then it turned out pretty bad, and then we had to stall the game. But we had so much confidence in Kobe's Lucian with Lulu that we knew we can still win, right? So we just have to believe, and then in the end we won. I'm just really happy.
I can definitely tell you've just got this energy about you. Let's talk about the rest of the series, because it swung back and forth. You know, there was a couple games where you looked in absolute control. Another game, Giants looked in absolute control. Were you quite surprised by Giants' performance today and your own in some ways?
I feel like overall we were the better team. We played the map better than them, but they had some good picks into what we have, and then they had they forced hard on like team fighting champs, and we didn't really deal with it the best way. So I'm kind of disappointed in the way we played. I know we can play a lot better than this, but I mean in the end we won, so I'm happy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you guys are qualified for the summer split. Let's take a look at the spring split as a whole. 5-13 was your record, you know, going all the way to 5 games with Giants, but I think the favorites in this series. What's your opinion of the spring split and Splyce's performance as a team, and then, of course, yourself individually as well?
As a team, we started off like really weak. I think we probably played the worst out of nearly any team in the league. But slowly we started getting better. We knew what to do in game. It was like following the methods of the game, as Yamato would say. So overall we got better and better. I don't think we have shown like what we're capable of as a team. So the split has been kind of disappointed for us, I must say. But and for me personally, like if we don't play well as a team, then I'm not gonna play well either. So kind of disappointed split, but I think we will come back strong for summer.
Well, you know, I respect your honesty. Coming back strong for summer, that is now looking ahead. You guys have earned, you know, a break. But has the team spoken about the summer splits and looking forward and trying to turn around some of the difficulties of spring?
No, I think the first struggle for us was just getting through this, and then we will see what happens. But we have learned so much doing this first split together, and it will only get better for us, I think.
Well, congratulations. Welcome back to the LCS. We'll see you in summer. For now, to wrap up the series, we're going to head over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Trevor, and well, thank you to Trashy for talking to us after, indeed, a 5-game thriller from the side of Splyce, and they almost gave it away themselves, actually, in that last game.
Yeah, that game 5 was pretty insane. It looked good. You know, you're like, all right, Splyce got this one. Mithy was close to calling it for Splyce, but normally when he calls it for a team, the opposite will always happen.
Master Curse.
So he waited a little bit. Giants actually came back after winning some team fights. We also, obviously, when we had the Lulu Lucian comp, very defensive build from Copy. He couldn't really deal damage to the front line. They got caught out a little bit. He ended up calling it for Giants, and then obviously we knew Splyce was going to take it. They would win the next fight, and they did.
All right.
I'm so sorry.
That's basically what happened. That's a recap of everything. Blame Mithy.
What about pick and bans? Because obviously you came here saying correctly they should go for a team fight comp. However, we weren't completely convinced by the Splyce comp, especially the Lulu, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, me and Jankos were talking about it. Or at least I believe that Azir is actually pretty good into Lulu. Not only about the laning phase, because I'm not really sure how the matchup goes, honestly, but more about like how the team fights or skirmishes play out overall, because you can't really run at an Azir that puts a soldier that chunks you down super hard and also slows you with the rallies. It's really hard.
Yeah, in my opinion, so basically the Azir pick just totally destroyed Splyce, and I thought actually Giants will take this game at some point because, well, Splyce snowballed really well early game, and then for some reason they just threw the game really hard. So then what happened is that Azir was just too broken to fight around him, but Smithy J, even though he was carrying the mid game, he made a couple of mistakes, and then Azir pick was punishing Splyce, so...
And I think that's where Giants are going to look back at this game and be almost angry at some point, because their comp technically had engaged trolls in like Gragas and obviously the Nautilus, but also you could actually kite back really well with Ezreal, with the Azir. And when you run this Lulu Lucian comp, you can't really reach the backline properly, so you will eventually, your tanks will just get chunked down and kind of forced out of the fight. as long as Smitty J doesn't go in and tries to become that one tank on a Fiora, because then it goes wrong and he's easy enough to take down for the Lucian, for the Gangplank. And that's how they lost the last few team fights.
Yeah, they did, which we saw a couple of times also. The Baron didn't help. We saw one where they ended up losing 2 members because they died to Baron, unluckily. And then this was in the end as well, where Splyce completely turned around the fight and they got the Baron too.
Yeah, this is obviously fairly early on in the game, the
sorry.
first one here, where
This is the wrong one.
Splyce is, again, getting a lot of kills in these certain objective
I mean, yeah,
fights.
basically Splyce has a team fight comp, so they're just trying to kind of force things, and it's working out for them. So they played the comp right, but yeah, at some point Smitty J was punishing them really hard, and Azir as well. So
Yeah, this was also at the point in the game where Fiora is not strong enough to just completely take over the side lane, which obviously happens, like 2 items completed. Say goodbye to trying to split push as a Gangplank. You have to just force team fights over and over, and that's what Splyce tried to do, but then again, we saw them struggle to actually win these fights.
Yeah, I juked myself with the replays. Now we're going to get the one
There
that
it
I was
is.
talking about, where they go in and you know that this Baron is going to be the one that decides to fight. The Giants decide to go for it, don't get it, and end up getting run over by Splyce. We can run it out.
Mithy, what do you think about this call here?
I think the call overall is good. I think that like since I think one member of Giants, I mean of Splyce is dead at this point, or they're just being greedy about the call overall for Giants. But I honestly think that Giants is taking a very unnecessary risk here, and it's just not paying off. Like I honestly, even if one member was dead for Splyce, it wouldn't really be worth it unless it's a very important member like their mid laner or the AD carry.
And Cubby was running from base at this point, and when you start the Baron here, Peppy was standing in the back of the Baron pit, got chunked down to like 50% from GP ulti, and obviously Baron hitting him. And also, how are you gonna kite if you have a Baron wall right behind you? So they actually ended up just being stuck in the pit.
yeah, I mean that was the biggest issue in this fight. That for Splyce it was the perfect tie. They're just like standing there and hitting the front line, and front line of Splyce is bigger than front line of Giants. So basically, Giants have to always peel back and then try to get this one shot on someone with now Duld and Fiora ult. But here in this fight, they're just doing Nash. They were focusing the Nash, and Splyce was focusing them. So at some point, they just all the squishes died, and Azir got run over with Ezreal.
They were also debuffed by the Nash, so they took a lot of damage.
In the end, if we look at crowning an MVP for the series, we wanted to highlight Wonderwear, the top laner for Splyce, or as the Fisho likes to call him, Godware. He picked up 30% of his team's kills and 29% of their damage, and bring his team back in the LCS.
It's a player who's obviously had quite a split. Was very criticized in the start.
Very, very, very criticized.
I mean, he
Especially
was-
his Quinn, I remember.
Yeah, people basically
Extremely criticized.
said the Splyce lost due to this guy in
He
the
was
start of the split.
criticized for a reason, It's not like
Yeah.
He had a
I
bad
mean,
start.
that's mostly what happened, spoiler alert.
Yeah, he had a bad start to the split, but honestly, I feel like he's improved a lot, and I don't think he's always a consistent good carry, but I think when he actually gets ahead in games like the Fiora game we saw earlier, he can take over the game and play really well, and that's why they keep putting him on these carries.
But that's what Trashy was talking about, right? How they started the split in a not the best way, and then they just kind of started climbing step by step and becoming a better team overall, and that probably helped Wunderwear also stop feeding. So there's that. I think, honestly, like I don't even know why I'm being biased on him right now, because I think he deserves the MVP. He played extremely well, and he carried basically every game except maybe the last one. But the last game, it's really hard to play GP against Fiora on a long lane.
Gotta be edgy. We understand, Mithy. Finally,
He's also salty he's not getting the MVP.
not getting MVP. We heard in the interview, of course, what's going to happen now. Just short, maybe some final thoughts about Splyce, as we will be seeing them back in the LCS 8 in their first split. Around how much higher could they realistically climb, or do you expect to find them back at the promotion tournament after summer?
With the current lineup, I think Splyce will go into summer split and once again be down in the bottom of the standings. I don't think they're going to be good enough to just start climbing into top 6. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with all the top 6 teams just yet, but I expect them to maybe fight for 7th, see if they can make it into the number 6 spot for playoffs, but I don't think the player material right now is there, and I think every other team will also improve around summer.
Well, I do agree with the Fisher. I think their players are not the best, but I do believe in coach. I think Yamato is a really good coach. I had pleasure to work with him, so I do believe that they have a chance of placing maybe even top 7, like going one spot higher than right now. But playoffs, it's tough for them.
You never know. Summer split is very weird. I can confirm.
But are they good enough?
I think everyone is good enough in their own way, because the team is becoming. I mean, the game is becoming so team focused that you never know. I think right now any team, if they have better macro play, they will just beat any other team even with better individual players.
Don't forget, Origin ended up 4th against all odds, so anything can happen. Let's take a look at the bracket, seeing how we have one series down, one more series down. In the promotion tournament, Splyce, they qualify for the summer split. Giants, they are not out yet. They have one more chance tomorrow in another best of 5 versus the loser of Huma versus Roccat. So, you know, obviously, Crepo mentioned they should go home with a happy feeling. However, if you are so close to just having it all over and being back in the LCS, now you have to saddle up again for a best of 5, I wouldn't be.
No, there's no happy
wouldn't be
feeling
happy.
at all.
No.
Like, this is the worst feeling ever because you came into game 5 and you were winning game 5.
They had it. They had 2 inhibs
Like-
down and Nash. They all.
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
god.
somehow they bounced back from such a huge deficit, so that's really weird.
This is super tough for Giants. Also, we haven't seen Rocket and Huma yet. Coming into this, we all said, oh, well, Mithy and I both said Splyce would win it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to
In
go
3-0 or 3-1.
Yeah, you know, I didn't expect to go like 4-5 games and be this close. So I don't know what to expect from Rocket and Huma just yet. Playing on stage, obviously, also a bit different. But Giants have been looking a lot better, for sure.
Yep. Improvement. We'll see if they can carry it on by tomorrow. Just leaning a little bit by tomorrow. Splyce obviously is through to the LCS summer split, and we also will have Yamato joining us tomorrow to analyze that last best of 5. For us, though, we are one series down, but there's more coming your way as Roccat try and defend their seat against the challenger champions of Huma. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Smitty J catching Trashy on the backside for a little bit of revenge. Should be able to get him. Yes, no problem. Smitty having to flash away from this one, and Splyce grouped on up. Glacial Fissure double kill for the gangplank off a Parley shot. You got it?
나이스.
야, 앞으로 오졌다. 대박 들어갔다. Oh my god, that Nasor kills me!
You can do it, can you?
Looking for Hustlin', but Smitty goes around the side and Bob Sincox in the middle of it all. Wisdom going low, Trashy trying to hold the line, but that's a double kill for Fiora. Keep blinking those health bars. Hustlin' will fall after Wisdom, and now that's gonna be it. Splyce in a massive fight are gonna finish it off.